virtually every other service line in healthcare loses money.
Cost inputs on college are super expensive.
Yeah.
They are.
So, and then the doctors
and insurance
don't
doesn't
work
pay
for free.
shit. So how are all these health systems still around? How are they making money? You're listening to Burn Rate and Bullshit.
The show where founder suits and corporate clowns all get called the fuck out. We're Josh Robinson and Mike Nathan and Brian Kippers, entrepreneurs turned VCs with zero filters, strong opinions, and a bullshit detector set to high.
Welcome to the only business podcast that actually tells it like it is.
I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.
I'm excited for this episode because the three of us, all in very different ways, have spent much of our careers in and around healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea of the hospital turned hedge fund, one, I think is spot on, but two is it's going to be interesting to hear kind of all three of our perspectives on it. Brian, you're able to join us for another episode. It might be worthwhile for people to hear some of your background because you were on the B2B side of healthcare. So you weren't directly in healthcare service delivery, but you were very close to the financial side of healthcare. Might be worthwhile just sharing a few, couple minutes on what your background is. And
Sure. Usually my personal introduction takes 20 to 25 minutes.
Usually.
So I'm going to really narrow it down for
I'd
you
condense
guys.
that.
Is that a little much?
Just a highlight reel, maybe.
Okay. So you mentioned the business to business side of
Mark
healthcare.
the tape here for editing.
So in 1998, I started a company called Apex Revenue Technologies. So what Apex is a statement processing company. So what is that?
Statement.
What's a statement?
Those great statements you get at home
I declare bankruptcy.
that says you owe a whole bunch of money to go to the doctor. So we printed and mailed those. And I ran that business for 24 years, 12 as the single owner, unless you talk to my wife. We were 50-50.
Right.
Technically, she was 51% owner because when I filed the paperwork, I had her be a female-owned company, which did absolutely nothing
Clever.
for me.
Clever.
I got nothing out of that. And then the last 12 years I've run the company was private equity owned under 3 different private equity firms. And so this whole idea of statement processing, basically trying to get patients to pay the money they owe, which originally we started the business, which was easy. You send them a statement with $15 owed or $35 owed, or maybe $100 was a big balance, to that at the end you're sending statements. Well, the biggest one we ever sent was like over $1 million.
Wow.
That's not getting paid. But just the cost of healthcare has gone up so much. And then with paper statements, every single person who looked at that business said, "Oh, it's going to be eliminated. It's all going electronic." I first heard that in the late 90s with the invention of the internet. All this stuff's going to be on the internet. Statements are going away. Don't need it. Then I heard it for a while. Oh, the government's going to take over healthcare. It's going to be free. You don't need to have statements. And by the last month that I ran that business, we were doing 15 million statements a month out of the facility in Minnesota and the facility in Nashville, which was through an acquisition. So it was a great business. Learned a lot. Again, the first 3 years it was in my basement. I was the only guy, only employee.
Didn't you move up to the garage then later?
And then I took the promotion up to the garage. Technically the business was started in 95. The reason I mentioned 98, that's when I got out of the house. I had a real company, a real office, and bought a small little company that was 1,800 square feet of office space, or a total space, 400 office, 14 warehouse. That's a warehouse so small that you can't operate a forklift. You have to throw the boxes to the top shelf. It's great great way to stay in shape. But ultimately, the big numbers on it, the first 12 years of being the sole owner, I got the business to $16 million of revenue and about $2 million of EBITDA. That's under dispute. I say it's $2 million. The guys from Tonka Bay who invest in the company, they think it's a little more or less, whatever. We go back and forth all the time. But let's just say it's $2 million. And out of the next 12 years, which is really exciting, the top line of the business went from 16 million to 123 million. And
Feels like a lot of growth.
A little bit. And then last year I ran the business. We forecasted $20 million of EBITDA, which is total moonshot. I never thought, again, this business was started like a lot of the businesses out there, a lot of the companies that the three of us deal with. These are businesses that are started with a cool idea, and maybe someday they make enough money so the owner can make a decent salary. That's the whole vision. That was my whole vision. My dad was an independent sales rep. He had an office. That was it. okay, that's the vision. Someday I'll be able to have an office, and having an office would be success.
Look, Ma, I made it.
I made it. I have my own office, and and having all these stuff I had at the end, 185 employees and private equity owners, and being pretty critical in the whole rev cycle. With the client base, it started out small clinics, and then bigger clinics, and then hospitals and hospital systems. So we did business with pretty much everybody out there. Notably in town here would be, or in the area would be Mayo Clinic or Allina Health Systems. You could not live in the state of Minnesota and not get a statement out of Apex. We had 85% market share. We did business with everybody. I designed most of those statements originally myself. That's why
they're so confusing.
That's why they're so awesome. That's why the guys in the office eventually called me the Godfather of statement design. One of the many nicknames I have. Ones I can repeat even on a show like this. Right?
The Godfather of
statement design.
Statement
the guy
design.
who built the modern design of hospital and healthcare statements.
Had I known that.
That's something.
I will sign autographs later. If you have a healthcare statement, I will sign it for you. And I only charge a little for that.
Ooh, there are some statements I'd like you to sign off on for sure. I accept responsibility for this.
Well, not those statements. So so it was a great business. Uniquely able to sell the business 4 times. The original time.
But you had a pivot, because I know your story for the most part. You had a pretty critical pivot in this one. And I know we'll get to the rest of the stuff in the episode, but in terms of your bio, I think it's really cool. You went from one of the oldest industries in the neighborhood to one of the newest, which is the way I suspect you'd agree. You were really successful because you took something owned combined with something new. Talk about that transition with Tonka Bay. I know.
It was during the Tonka Bay ownership period, but I never wanted to have in-house technology. I'm a sales guy by trade. The last thing in the world I wanted was IT people that I had to manage, and just the ongoing expense of all that. So we outsourced all that, and Tonka Bay invested on that thesis. And after the first year of Tonka Bay making their investment, the partner we used from that got crazy and basically unplugged us from their technology. And the contract was 60 days. So we had 60 days to migrate all of our business, all of these healthcare clients, to all these other platforms that were basically friends of ours that allowed us to use their technology.
These are the guys that ran your software, essentially.
Yeah.
Outsourced
back office. So at that point, Tonka Bay and I decided we should build our own software from the ground up. From there, I hired a close friend of mine from St. John's, Pat Maurer, to come in. Pat was an executive at SPS Commerce, so he had a great background. Saw SPS Commerce through the .com explosion. These guys almost went bankrupt and got the company back on track. So he came to Apex, and we designed and built our own platform. But with that, inherent in that technology was the ability to go electronic. And that's what you're talking about. So that, everybody talking about, oh my gosh, all these paper statements are going to go electronic. Well, let us be the source to go electronic. Let us create a product to eliminate our other product. And we did that.
A quick break before we get into today's topic. And this one, I'll be honest, this one gets personal for me. Today, we're going to talk about hospitals running like a hedge fund. And here's where it lands for me. The reason hospitals end up running like a hedge fund is because the mission-driven healthcare companies that should be disrupting them never get funded right. They never get funded at all sometimes. So the spreadsheet players win by default. That's the problem I'm actively trying to solve through the Raise Academy at Impero Ventures. This is how mission-driven founders, especially in healthcare and in medtech, fund themselves right away from day one. Get the right investors, the right structure, the right runway. And I've been on both sides of this. I've sold a healthcare company, multiple healthcare companies, and I sit on multiple medtech boards and some venture funds. Go to imperoventures.com, the Raise Academy. It's a course, there's coaching with me or done for you. Now let's get back to the episode. Thanks.
So we were the first ones to roll out electronic statement option, the electronic statement option. Then
here's your statement in the email. Here's the pay portal to go to. Ours or the hospitals or somebody's, right? Which was crazy town back then. When you did it was like you can pay a bill online.
Yeah, you can see your statement online and pay it. Wow.
It's crazy.
That's
to think
super cool.
about now.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Especially in healthcare, which is always 20 years behind technology-wise. They're just not real technology savvy.
They're like the eBay of hospital bills. You can buy stuff on it.
So safe to say you are an expert on healthcare revenue cycle and the financial side.
I should put that on my
healthcare.
resume. Expert.
There you go.
Yes, but I've done it literally since I've left St. John's. I've been healthcare all those years. I graduated in '89. So either selling in the field to start out, then as an entrepreneur, as a board member for a bunch of companies, a lot of them that Mike and I are involved with, but just all these companies. I've been around healthcare from day one. all different sides of it. Great industry. I love it today. I think it's fantastic. But as you want to talk about, there are some crazy things that go on in healthcare that have been going on for the last decade that probably aren't the best for the overall system itself.
Yeah. Well, and to be really specific, we're talking about the integrated delivery healthcare systems. So, not necessarily Mayo generally, but, Mayo type things, right?
Mhm.
Really big health systems that are fully integrated. We're not talking about your local, standalone urology practice or whatever kind of specialty that's off on its own. Those are making money and they're doing really well.
Yep.
What we're talking about is integrated delivery systems. And where those really big health systems make money is, spoiler alert, it's not the 500-pound diabetic that is coming in via ambulance every week because heart palpitations. They're not making any money on that person. Where hospitals make money is when I was in finance at an integrated delivery network, we would always joke the money was in bones and babies. It's
Mhm.
orthopedics and it's labor and delivery.
Yep.
And less labor and delivery and more just OB,
Okay.
women's health. But yeah, so it was bones and babies. Virtually every other service line in healthcare loses money if you look at the service line P&L.
Mm-hmm.
And primary is okay to lose money because that's where all the referrals come for the more expensive specialties
Your
that
loss
they have.
leader.
But like cardio, oncology, all of those lose money.
How does oncology lose money? Or given all the
I think the cost, the inputs on oncology are super expensive.
Yeah.
They are.
So, and then the doctors
And insurance
don't
doesn't
work
pay
for free.
shit.
Yeah, insurance doesn't pay anything. So.
There's that.
So how are all these health systems still around? How are they making money? And the vast majority of them have effectively turned themselves into hedge funds. A lot of
That's
them are
true.
not for profit.
Mhm.
They have suckered rich people into giving them money, and they take that money and they invest it. And
Good.
but they're not reinvesting any of those dividends back into the healthcare.
They probably need it just to survive, to get by their working capital at some point. No, there is, I can't tell you when it started, but it's not like one or two hospitals have $100 million tucked away somewhere, earning them money. There's probably several in every state that have
Billions.
9-figure,
Oh, yeah.
10-figure,
Yep.
call it what you want, trust fund.
It's a big endowment. It's
Or
no
an endowment.
different than the
It just-
colleges. Very similar to the colleges.
Yeah, and I think they use that because the prospect of making money at a hospital is number one. It's not very palatable to the general public,
Mhm.
right? Number two,
Meaning you shouldn't earn a profit. if
yeah,
you're
you
in
shouldn't.
healthcare.
I'm not saying I agree with that statement because,
But
good
that is
Lord,
a pretty widely held sentiment.
it's why you shouldn't make any money in healthcare. No, you should. If you want good, smart people to be in it, you need to make sure there's some profit motive there. But you also can't gouge either. So I mean, there's a middle road there. We are not in the middle of the road. We're on the side of don't make any profitability on this. And I think insurance companies, who you might want to look at see as the bigger villain here, the insurance companies are the ones that almost ensure that hospitals stay destitute. So what is a hospital to do? They can take their vast amounts of resources, their pull to the community. I mean, because people love their hospitals, hate their insurance company. Usually, that's usually how this works.
Mm.
And so they'll give them money. They'll stick with them. So whatever they can turn, they build these funds. And if you've got, make it up, a $500 million fund, if you're a hospital, make a little bit of return on some of that. That's your budget. Keep doing it. But you're right. I think it's sustainability. Unless you guys know of, there's probably plenty of examples
Yeah.
of.
I you should think of it.
Is it a slush fund? Is it they're just playing with it?
Yeah.
I don't see it that way.
There's
Usually,
two sides of it, though. The money they're raising, there's the endowment. So hospitals have a lot of,
Mm.
and the big case would be like Mayo Clinic. They've
Yeah.
got over $10 billion. I've got a friend of mine who manages their bond portfolio, right? So that there's a significant amount of money they have in the sidelines
Mhm.
that they generate income to offset the losses on reimbursement.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Mayo is probably a bad example in so many reasons because they're like one of these facilities that gets all their equipment free because every vendor gives them equipment so they can get a reference and then They take that reference and they go and charge all their hospitals full price.
Oh, but that's inducement, Brian. You're not supposed to do that.
Okay, that's what goes on. So you got that side.
So I've heard.
So I've heard. But then you have the side that Josh has mentioned where, and I can tell you, Line of Health System told me this over 10 years ago. We met with their venture capital guy, and I'm like, why do you even have this in the facility? He goes, we are preparing for the day that healthcare delivery is a loss business. We're going to lose money every year delivering healthcare. Wait a minute. You're a healthcare business, and we're going to lose money every single year because of reimbursements.
And they're planning for that.
So we're planning for it. So we have to raise money on the endowment. So we need that to be huge, hundreds and hundreds of millions for every single big facility, or over $1 billion. So we need some of that money to offset these losses.
Yep.
And we need to take some other money and make some risky bets in VC.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the area that gets to be a little questionable, where they're out investing in these businesses that they really don't have a great background to do this.
Yeah.
But there's always a story, oh, Ascension did this and that company went public and they made X amount. And so there's always something out there that the other ones are kind of following along. And we saw it firsthand at my old business. We saw these health facilities, organizing and, like getting 20 or 30 of them together,
Yeah.
and then picking a company, investing in that company, and ultimately that company would be like a competitor to my old business.
Well, you remember good old Livio Health Group, right?
Yes, very well.
We took 50 grand from the big, this is years ago, it was over a decade, HCMC, Hennepin County Medical Center.
Yeah.
Or it might have been Hennepin County Health was the entity, but
They came in as an investor.
it was super small, but we went through like their committee, their investment committee.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
Mr. Phil Smith was on that committee, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I first sort of started to meet Phil. And we got money. I think it's more and more common than people know.
Yeah.
And I don't fault them. I like the premise of this episode, and I might be we might lose a potential sponsor here with healthcare insurance companies. Brought to you by United Health. Won't be.
Could be.
The health insurance people are the villains, so everybody's clear. Now, the hospitals don't do themselves any favors for a lot of reasons, but they are literally dog and pony for the insurance companies. They pull out the strings. They have so much of the leverage over hospitals. And if you want to, and a lot of the things you don't like about healthcare and or a hospital system, it's not because they don't want to do it. It's because they can't afford to do anything else. If I do it this way, no one's going to pay for it. Are you going to pay for it? Want to spend 5 nights in the hospital? Insurance isn't paying for it. Do you want to pay $20,000 a day?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. So you're pretty pleased with sugar on top. Get the fuck out. Go back home.
Yeah. Yes.
Ooh,
The
I like
insurance
this.
company has a lot there. And the healthcare systems they themselves a huge part of the problem. Most of them are structured as not-for-profit entities, and they all make profit. Now, it's increasingly becoming generated from investment returns and not from care delivery.
And that's why they call it a community fund, not an actual fund.
But I mean, these not-for-profits that have $10 billion in revenue, in a good year in healthcare, you should have 2 to 3% bottom line. So you're generating $200 to $300 million in net income, but you're structured as a not-for-profit, so you don't pay any tax on it. So this is what irritates me probably the most about integrated care delivery is they all bitch and whine about how they're a stroke of the pen away from everything, but then they're sitting there and taking all the benefits of being a not-for-profit when they have hundreds of millions of dollars of cash every year that they're kicking off. It's like, you guys, if you're going to play the game, you got to play it the same way 2 days in a row. You can't have
I
it
agree.
both
They don't
ways.
do themselves any favors when that's their approach.
And
I
almost every
see
one
them.
of them is like that.
And I still don't see those guys as the bad guys. I just don't. I think the villain is.
I don't think the insurance companies are the villains. I think that might be kind of strong because if you think
Have you
about,
met Mike, Brian?
No.
Stand by what I said. Stand by what I said.
I'll stand up for someone's got to stand up for him. I will. I think that if you want to see healthcare costs go crazy, let United Healthcare approve every single claim. Somebody's got to be the ultimate person say, no, you can't charge for this, or the patient should have been seen that way. There's got to be somebody in the process of the revenue cycle, in that rev stream, stopping.
Says no.
Now, do they say no too often? Do they drive you through to the primary care doctor every time, which is the colossal waste of energy. Yeah, and I think that's gonna change. But I don't think that they're, there's other things that they do that drive me nuts, like the commissions they pay their sales reps to sell health insurance. Boy, how difficult of a product to sell when everybody has to buy it.
Oh,
Like,
weird. We put them right in a nursing home too to sell it.
Oh, geez, it's very, very difficult.
Good Christ.
But I think that the health system.
I think though, if you got rid of, if you got tort reform and
Yeah.
a doctor wasn't worried about getting sued for looking at a patient funny,
tests will go down.
the
Number of tests will go
the
down.
doctors would be a good mechanism to control the cost.
Yeah, a good doctor does.
I
that.
really do believe
good doctors today do that, and there's
I
a
really
lot of
do
good
believe
doctors. There's even more good nurses, right?
I think the
do
fact that they over doctor today is a
Mhm.
is a symptom of
Can't miss it.
tort reform.
and there's patients like me that every time they're in front of the doctor
Good
ask for
God,
5
you're just
tests.
Always,
Yeah.
you're always in there.
All right.
My hip,
The
my eye,
hypochondriac.
my knee.
I was there last week. I got a new doc. Love this guy because he said I started talking about the wild medical record, which is kind of like reading Gone with the Wind, all this shit I've had done. And
War and
I
Peace.
said, I need this test. I need that test. And he's like, yep, you're the boss. He said that. I'm like, as the
Am I?
patient, I'm the boss? Because every other doctor you go to, like, no, you're not getting this. Why do you want that test? All these things, and they're saying no to you. This guy would have given me anything.
Yeah.
So I loved him. He was
Well-
awesome. Now, I didn't take advantage of it. There's certain things I want to get tested because of all the crazy healthcare shit I've had.
So I don't want to leave this sleeping dog lie. I want to go back and kick it.
Yes.
United Health Group.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, never heard of them. When all the stuff went down with their CEO, which obviously nobody is going to get behind any of that stuff. But at the time they were doing that, so much information came forward, which I knew existed, but I didn't know to what degree. And there are some government nonprofits that did something like United Health Group legitimately puts in place an AI bot and it denies 32% of all claims. Not on the things you would think it is.
Mhm.
They denied on likely the likelihood you're going to fight back against. You're going to
Challenge it.
challenge or like appeal. Sorry, I
Appeal,
couldn't
yeah.
think of appeal this denial. And right behind him was like Cigna or Aetna or Anthem, or, run on down the list of all these. And they're in the high 20s, low 30s. United happened to be the top dog at the time. And they brag about this stuff at investor meetings, like, hey, we've got this thing.
Our
It's going to
denial
say,
rate, yeah.
Yeah.
we don't do this to curb what you're talking about. You can't, and it's true. You can't get every test. You can't do everything because people like you are going to drive healthcare costs up.
Hey, come on now.
Josh, you and I go to the doctor how many times a year?
How many times in 10 years?
One-ish.
I could count on one.
You're
hand.
going. I mean, you've got like a Subway card. You're punching it every time you're there.
Just because on first name basis to my doctor.
So-
What's wrong with that? These are nice people. They like to see me. I'm doing them a good.
Well, so if you're literally a third of the time you're going to go, there's something going to die. That's an insurance.
Yeah.
And if I'm a hospital, if I have to figure out that funny math, I mean, how come I'm defending them and you're not like standing up? The hospitals are the victim here, but they don't do themselves any favor. I'm with you. But if we
I
just
hate insurance company. I think they're
the worst.
Yeah,
right?
they are the
villain.
worst.
Sounds like somebody
I
said a
would say
villain.
that, I would say
Are they
that
the
they
villain?
are a
Too strong.
villain. They're not the villain in this.
They're a cast
But
of
I've
villains.
also worked, over a decade in senior leadership roles in a really large health system. I've seen it firsthand how messed up
yeah.
the health systems
have.
really are, and it's gross. It's just it's interesting though. I would suspect I am on the list for United now of people not to mess with.
You know too much.
Why is that?
I lost my absolute shit on them a year ago. So 3 years ago, my daughter broke her back in
Okay.
gymnastics.
Yep.
Last year,
I remember this. Yep.
we thought she broke her back again. And the doctor, her pediatrician, ordered an MRI, and United wouldn't pay for it
Shocker.
because
Shocking.
they said that it's only justified if she has a pre-existing condition. And I'm like, are you kidding me? She broke her back 2 years ago.
Gymnastics. And
How is that not a pre-existing
'Cause she healed,
condition
'cause she
to
healed.
justify an MRI? And these people, that were making $22 an hour on the phone trying to tell me, I finally
non-medical?
lost it. I'm like, I have forgotten more about healthcare reimbursement than you know. Do not try to lecture me on how this is going to work.
I want to get Josh that
Note,
on the show.
note for the file.
Yeah.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Let's just pay
No.
this one.
Let's
quietly.
put him on the
No.
list that doesn't auto
Note
get
in the
denied.
file was this guy is a total asshole.
Yeah.
Dude, right? Just say yes to him.
And
or
likely
move to
you-
Bottom
management.
line and moral of the story, you got the MRI paid for.
Well, whatever you did work then.
Yeah.
Publish that.
So it worked.
So I know we're on a shit, but so I think to the earliest premise of this episode was, what the hell, hospitals? Why does this exist? Is this a sham? Is this? I think it's a clever, smart, adapting sort of way to overcome the obstacle.
For them to have their own hedge fund or investment fund or VC
Well,
fund.
and by the way, and
That's
we
a good
haven't even
idea.
talked about the other villain. You're right. There are some. What about the Macs in this country that distribute the government's money?
they're-
Your CM,
they're
your Centers for Medicare and
Yep.
Medicaid dollars.
Well, see, this is where I think the government, if you're going to pick the villain, it would be the government,
Federal government.
in my opinion, the
Yeah.
federal government.
Yeah.
It's
And
on
they're
brand.
definitely
That's on brand.
another one of the villains because these Medicare administrator companies, the MACs,
The Macs,
they are paid based on how many claims they deny,
which is nuts.
right?
What a time.
Why-
Miss
why-
a lot.
They
What-
get to
wait.
keep more of the money that the federal government ships
Didn't have to
them
spend. Yeah.
if they don't. If they
So
don't
why are
pay
we
the
not in
claims.
that business? It sounds pretty easy. Just I'll be denial guy. I'll press the button. Denied. That's a dollar.
Denied.
Denied. I'll do it all day
Denied.
long.
So you're going to pay me
I'll
a
make tons.
percentage off the money I denied the people you
Wait a
promised you would do for them? That's exactly right. I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm
Sounds
in.
like a good deal.
It's like the jerk. Like Steve Martin said in The Jerk. Oh,
Yeah.
so it's a profit game. It takes the pressure off.
It's a profit
We would be
game.
so good at that.
Oh my God, I could deny anything.
Oh, Jimmy's got a broken
So
leg.
here's
Fuck off.
another.
Here's a board. Strap it up there, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Toughen up.
Ever heard of a splint?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mail a doctor manual from
Here's a
1900.
handkerchief.
There's a-
Make
Here you go.
yourself a tourniquet.
Come on.
On that coffee table, there's a Boy Scout manual. Figure out how to splint your leg, buddy.
Yep. Because we're not paying for it.
Want the government to bail you out? I won't go there. I'm outnumbered here with
not
the
to
the conservatives and the liberal. I'll be outnumbered. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Jimmy.
not to give
Poor Jimmy.
away
But he doesn't-
the answer to the question,
Yes.
but another villain in all this
Mhm.
is private ownership. So
I
specifically,
hear-
so you mentioned private equity
Yeah.
on the B2B side in the world you were in.
Yep.
Here they drive up costs.
Private equity has been pouring a ton of cash into healthcare delivery
Mhm.
over the last 10
Yeah.
years. I jotted it down. So private equity put $5 billion into healthcare related deals in 2000. So 25 years later, so last year, that number went to 104 billion. There were
Feels like a jump. Feels like
little
hot
over
jump time.
1,000 unique private equity backed healthcare deals last year alone. So the money's pouring in. They're buying these smaller facilities.
Josh,
they're
it's
rolling them up.
because private money like that wants to create greater access.
To what? Access to
I
what?
was wondering
Access to
if you
what?
could say it with a
Access-
straight face. I
access
thought if
to
I went,
Their product
Yeah.
and service.
Access to the
so
care.
funny
Greater
you should
access.
bring up the quality side of it, Mike. They found
Soaring, I'm
they
sure.
found that private equity backed hospitals. What year was this? 2025. So in the year 2025, private equity owned hospitals decreased their wages on average by 12%. They reduced wages.
This is my shocked face.
What number would you expect to have gone up? By 13%.
The nonprofit.
The emergency room mortality rate in those
God, I thought
same
you said about
facilities.
wages.
No. So wages in private equity owned facilities dropped by 12%. Deaths in private equity owned emergency departments went up 13%.
A double-digit increase in deaths.
And deaths in the ER.
That should.
In the same facilities that had a 12% decrease in wages.
Why?
Coincidence?
Yeah, but why
I
would
doubt
private
it.
equity ever want to buy a hospital?
That's what.
What a shitty
So,
business.
so I think the assumption is, hey, these ass clowns have been not for profit forever. They are making 2 to 3%. If we got in there with all of our really big MBAs, I bet we could just kill
We can
it.
gut
we can
this
go to 4
thing.
to
No.
6%.
Yep.
Great. But they
Oh, more people are dying
I
in my
don't
hospital?
know that, but
Who
that
cares?
has to be the premise of their investment thesis,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like,
think
it has
that-
to be.
I think that's.
I think-
crazy. That is again. I would.
There's too much top line here not to fuck around with it and
Yeah,
get
these
something to shake
nonprofit
up.
idiots are fucking around all the dollars.
That's got to be what they're
Anybody
thinking.
who's got a half a brain is going to do this 15-20% better than you are. Get out
Yep.
of our way.
Yep.
That's what-
I would never touch a health system as an investment in a million years.
Well, after the
Even if
last
I was a
company, I
big
wouldn't go
private-
anywhere fucking near healthcare delivery.
Oh, you accept
Period.
you
Yeah,
accept
yeah.
healthcare
Stop.
insurance?
stop.
I'm out.
Yes, the only ones that work, the ones that the private equity guys have done well in, like they've done well in dental, right? There's a billion of these little,
Yeah.
one doctor.
There's as a
practice,
percent
and
of your
they've rolled
total
those
bill,
guys
though,
up.
it's much more patient centric.
Exactly.
Patients pay for more of their shit.
Like you go get a tooth replaced, it's all out of your pocket. The
Yep.
insurance covers like nothing. So that model works for them. And all they're doing is streamline administrative costs, making sure the doctor understands, hey, you might want to recommend using this procedure because it, charges more. It's basic stuff. So dental works great. A lot of the other ones don't work. I know private equity guys have done really well in dental, and they've done absolutely horseshit in dermatology, which dermatology I thought would be a gold mine. As a guy who
think
sees
it
his
was
dermatologist twice a year, 3 times, she's a friend. Her husband and I race cars together.
Sure.
Again, build a relationship with your doctor, Mike. These are your friends.
What's
Right?
up, doctor?
But they lost their ass on it. It's like it's a dermatology. I'm like, well, just tell
Well,
the
I got a theory.
dermatologist to do all the cash payment charges. Stop. Do the Botox. Do the mole removal. All the cosmetic shit. And they still cannot make any money in that business because the dermatologists, when they graduate, that's a very difficult program to get into. When they leave, they come into that job and it's $700,000. That's what they want to get paid. So if you got employees making $700,000 who've done nothing, it's tough to make that model ever work. So
I'm like the kid from what was the M. Night Shyamalan movie? I see dead people everywhere.
Oh,
The Sixth
Sixth
Sense.
Sense?
Sixth Sense, yeah. I see villains everywhere. That's where I'm going. I see dermatologists will not roll out up. So this is where insurance company's the villain.
Those clowns are coin operated.
So insurance companies are villains. Some douchey hospital people are villains.
Yeah.
And dermatologists are villains.
Hey,
These are providers.
Hey,
I don't roll out of bed. I don't know. This looks like an old Rolex to me. Maserati's not going to gas itself. I need $1 million. I'm not going anywhere. Those deals in private equity, I think they'll admit to you later, was we tried to do it, but their thick is like some Soviet Union era union. Like they're all gonna be like, no, you're not gonna make this much profit. You're gonna have to kick some back to the people, to the physician led groups. I know plenty on that playbook. They're just the greediest sons of guns on the planet. And pretty please take care of my daughter's acne and all the things and
Yep.
the spot on my back. Please and thank you.
Yep.
And they're also villains. I see them everywhere.
I've told you the story before.
You've got a negative view of the world. There aren't that many
I'm actually
villains.
very positive. I'm actually very positive.
This is like uncharacteristic for you.
Where else
Well,
can you
I
find
just-
villains?
As a Boy Scout and a leader in the community, I'm always looking for evildoers, villains, as it were. Max, insurance companies.
I've told you this story before of
You live it a
how
lot.
Max, I agree.
I was the finance lead on redoing the physician comp model.
Oh God!
Have I told you this story?
That's a fun job.
Well, I saw you do it at another company, and it's just a hoot.
So this
it's
was
so much fun.
This was a minute ago. So I was the director of finance, and we had to sit down. We had moved most of the physicians to a productivity model, so they get paid a dollar amount per unit worth of
Sounds
work.
like a meritocracy to me.
Yeah.
I like it.
The last specialty to get converted to this was oncology. And so before this change, oncologists were paid revenue minus expenses. And revenue, at least on the top line side of it, was massive because these chemo drugs
Insane.
are stupid expensive, right? So these doctors were getting paid a boatload of money. And on the productivity model, so this one doctor in particular was making a little over $1 million a year on the revenue minus expenses. Same level of production forecasted for the next year, this doctor is going to make $600,000 a year. So as a percentage, pretty significant change, right? So we had to sit individually with each of these physicians and walk them through what their comp model was going to be. This doctor, of course, brought his financial advisor, which is doctor talk for my wife. And I had to explain to her what was happening. She was hysterical, bawling, screaming at me,
What?
Oh, wow.
asked me how I expected them to raise their family on only $600,000 a year.
I mean,
And
lots
I'm
of
like, bitch, please, let me
Ramen?
show you how to do
Ramen?
it.
PB and J's.
Maybe-
Right.
yeah. You might
But that's the mentality. I mean, and some of these specialties have this expectation
Yeah.
that I'm just going to make it, I'm the smartest person in the room. Everyone's been telling me that for the last 20 years. I'm going to get paid what I'm going to get paid. And so be it if it's going to drive up the cost of whatever.
Wait, so if I understand this, I'm going to do the same thing I did last year, but make 40% less.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a last episode on how to keep your A players around?
Yeah. That's how
Cut their pay 40%.
They're going to leave.
But here's
Plus, everyone was doing it.
Well,
The whole industry was making
and
that
here's
change.
the thing. It's also in that industry, there's sort of table stakes of performance or how good they are. I'm sure this doctor could have, I wouldn't say
Well,
easily
if you're
be
getting
replaced
paid on a derivative of revenue, seems a little counterintuitive. I mean, you'd be over medicating,
Yeah.
right? I mean, at least that's the moral hazard that's being induced.
I don't think that happens a lot. I think.
No, but that's why the industry shifted to a productivity model.
So what happened after you'd made the comp model change? Did you lose doctors, or you just dealt with one crazy wife and that was it, or was it a phone call every week?
It was a disaster. every
Brian, have you managed
conversation.
people before?
Have you met?
Have you met people?
Have you met humans?
Healthcare providers?
See,
What do you think
I'm
happened?
Positive. I always have a positive view of people that they just always do the right thing.
What's going on? Why am I the negative one this episode? You're usually
humans
the dick.
are the worst. I don't know. It's like
Brian
acting
does
him
something
is like,
here.
It's like Bizarro World. Like we've all changed roles here. I don't know what's happening.
I can get my mojo back.
You can use your mojo back. So let me throw another one out there. These going down to 600,000 could be too much. Could be too much of a cut. If it's 40%, that sounds aggressive to me. I'm making $1 million. I make 600 grand the next year, and I do the same thing. Now, if I can't get a job anywhere else in the entire free world for 600 grand, then it's probably fair. It's just market, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you don't want to have happen. So I'm I guess a defender of doctors. You don't want every smart kid in college today to say, you know what? I think about being a doctor, or I think I'll just be a PE guy. I can get into either program because I have the same grades, and they all choose to get in PE. We don't need any more PE guys. No,
Fair.
Here comes the hate mail. It's Brian at BWK.
PE guys can't write.
No, you don't want more hate.
They don't know how to read or write.
But you don't want all the doctors. You don't want all these doctors to leave, and doctor students leave and become PE guys or become whatever majors.
Yeah, don't
You
take your
want them to
smart brain and get into like video games.
because you screwed that up. You
No,
can't
no,
replace
could
it.
you-
You'll end up like Canada, a bunch of underpaid doctors who are all kind of crappy.
Now who's negative? I love our
that's
northern
honest.
brother. I love my northern brother.
Yeah,
Are
their
there
system
any
sucks.
other minority groups you would like to
Offend
on this episode?
You ready with the dump button gang? You ready to
Is
dump
that
it?
everybody above the northern border? No, I can offend other people. What's my limit? Is there a
I've
limit?
been rowdy.
No,
you
well,
can.
look,
Or is there a quota? I have
no.
to hit a certain amount.
There is a minimum. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to hit at
You
least
keep
a
the track?
dozen.
Well, I'm going to be Mr. Positivity apparently for the last half of this.
You're just going to go after the insurance companies.
Yeah, well,
How many other villains you got in healthcare then? How
You know
about
what?
give me another villain? The Max.
I've got
I
another
agree
one.
with you on the Max.
I've got another one.
The Max
I'd love
are
to hear your
bullshit.
villain.
So over the last, call it close to 30 years now, there's been this consolidation across healthcare.
Yep.
And the fundamental premise of doing that was bigger's better. You have economies of scale. You can manage this. You're going to drive down cost and you're going to increase quality.
are you?
Not one study has ever shown that has happened as a result of consolidation.
In fact, the opposite's true.
The
The
exact
smaller
opposite.
you can focus shit, the better outcomes. Like how many times I've looked at it. I mean, this is back even in Livio days, we would look at other models like, oh man, this thing sings once I get about 1 million people on this plan. 1 million patients?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like then it sings? It doesn't sing with a couple 100,000 or
No.
50? No.
7 figures
You're
minimum.
not getting it, Mike. It needs lots of numbers. It just chews up lives. Mike, that's a weird way for a healthcare program to go through profitability. It's insane.
Yeah. I do have another villain. Probably the one that
This is the villain episode.
Ready?
This is
Mike's
The
gonna
Joker?
Mike's gonna be.
To be clear, our intent was not to throw out solutions, just problems.
yeah, just
So,
Wow.
keep the villains.
What
going.
I don't have anything positive to say, but I got plenty.
Boy, a unique podcast then. You know? So let's talk about pharmacy.
Nobody's doing that.
Nobody in the country.
They're all solution based.
Pharmacy benefit managers.
For
PBM.
fuck's sakes. For fuck's sakes.
We're all in agreement.
Yeah.
First of all, when I heard it was a
Villains.
business, I'm like, what?
I'm
what-
not sure why they
What
exist.
is your business?
Yeah.
I have an insurance company. Why do I need you?
Which isn't that why we're rooting for Mark Cuban to kick ass? Because he's taking those
he
guys
kinda
on.
cuts them off.
I think he
You know?
cuts their seeds right off. I think is
Yeah.
what he's doing, and I love it. You may not like Mark. I know the two of you don't like his politics.
Well, actually, Mark is an interesting guy in many ways.
I think
now
so.
he's a big fan of Trump RX all of a sudden. He says, I never voted for you. I don't like you. But next year he's on the White House lawn.
I don't
those
know
two are buddies.
What's Trump RX?
It's like
pay him off a bunch of money. I get you drug on it.
Getting the drugs lowered price. The first
Fair.
president to pull it off, and those two are meeting there in the middle, which is
Let's make
maybe
sure we put a
good
rim
unity
shot
our
in
country.
there in post production.
Post production.
I see the blue blazers coming from the hall back there. FBI. They're coming because Palantir's got us zeroed in.
Oh yeah.
You guys
for
are
sure.
safe. They're coming for me.
Yeah.
They're gonna stuff and cuff the liberal.
Hey, I live in Florida. They're going to be checking tax returns. All right. Cut that AV mark. Cut that out.
There aren't any laws in South Dakota, so I'm good.
No, yeah, we're
That's why I'm moving here.
Yeah.
If I move here, right this area. Pay for an apartment.
You don't
won't
only have to spend one night a year in South Dakota to be a legal resident here?
No, that can't be true.
That is 100% true.
Data check that. Someone check that.
That is 100%
Mark the tape.
true.
Check it.
I mean, so you're going to spend the night here last night?
Yeah.
just so you know, the
You
interns don't
could
know what
be
you
a
mean by-
resident here.
They don't know what mark the tape means because we're digitally recording this.
What?
You say mark the tape to be like,
Isn't it real to real? Like they marked that? No, I don't know what they're doing here.
can
Again,
can somebody explain to me what Trump RX is? Honestly, I don't know what that is.
It's the generic drug buying group where you put all the generic drugs. Your Medicare and Medicaid buy like the most of everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, how the hell am I paying X amount for this when Canada or Europe is paying less? It's bullshit.
But hasn't every president since fucking first Bush?
I think George W. Bush talked about
George W. Bush, there you go.
every one of them. Maybe Clinton did too.
They all
every
think
one of
it
them
never happens.
It's
It
happening.
never goes through.
It's happening. The fact that Cuban showed up at a press conference to talk about it, and I paid attention. I'm like, these two are together on something. Wow, I couldn't believe it.
As much as
I hope it works.
as
'cause
much as
it
I'm
needs to
bothered
work.
by the president, if that can, that's
If
positive.
that
Look at
can-
me, positive
See,
already.
positive, Mike.
Not saying he's still a villain, but he's still a villain. Doesn't mean the villain can't do a good thing.
Yeah, if we can get but drug prices, especially those drug prices, generic drugs, that's a problem. But the PBMs they bother the shit. I mean, because maybe I don't understand their business, or maybe it's because when my company was getting these Fast 50 awards in the Twin Cities, as we're working our ass off growing, I'd show up and the local PBM there, oh, we're number 2, number 3. I'm like, you guys don't do anything. You're just in the middle there and moving paper around, and somehow you're growing
So
at
you're
800%.
jealous.
I'm like, I'm actually, maybe I am.
Got it.
It's like
Bastards.
it's like the Office, right? Or that was Office Space. Sorry, Office Space. What is it you say you do here?
It's exactly right.
Right?
But what do they do?
I take the money from the insurance company so you don't have to deal with it, and then I'll tell you how to spend it, and I'll take a small fee. How do
15%,
I
thank you very much.
benefit?
On-
Well, you're going to get a better rate, though.
You're
Yeah,
going to get
but
pharmaceuticals. I mean, it's in the name. How hard is this? How hard is this to
No.
understand?
But it's actually not cheaper than if I just go direct.
No, it's actually more
you're not
expensive.
understanding our benefit.
Yeah.
You don't understand our value. We negotiate on your behalf, but you're not.
But you cause it
Right.
to go up in price.
But we get
But I
access. Access.
Access.
You want
I
drugs?
got one word for you, Mike. Access.
Yeah, they're a villain. Fuck those guys.
See?
Go Mark Cuban, though.
I hope it works, what he's doing. Is he giving money to hospitals? He's probably giving money to hospitals. There's probably a Mark
I don't
Cuban
think Mark Cuban gets money. to
building
anyone.
somewhere, right?
Ooh,
I don't think he does.
there's
Yeah.
the negativity.
No, I don't think he's a big philanthropist. If he is,
Maybe
he's
too-
super
maybe-
quiet about it.
I don't think he
Maybe
does
too
either.
young. Maybe too young.
He's
He'll
no
do when he gets
Shaquille
older.
O'Neal.
All you need is one good cancer diagnosis. Those guys will give their money away quickly. They need a cancer, heart attack. Then they'll say, geez, I got to find the Lord. They'll start giving that money away quickly. All right? Maybe he's in that pile, right?
Mark, you need to find Jesus. You need
Yeah.
to find him quick.
All you motherfuckers need to find some Jesus.
Says a good bunch of Catholic boys here.
Right. Oh,
Boy.
we're on McLean.
Grandma's super stoked about this last bit. She's loving this. Mike's out there evangelizing on the internets.
Something with the computers.
I don't know. He's at the computer. He's just into him. Let me be the positive one and just sort of wrap this one down. In healthcare, who you think is the bad guy or why things are. Sure, hospitals have big old hedge funds. It looks like they're playing some game. They're actually trying to be a pal to make sure they can keep serving the community and doing that. They got to jump through hoops because of these villains that are out there. Hospitals don't do themselves any favor, but there are plenty of villains that make this whole thing one big knife fight in a kitchen, a Mexican standoff.
I find that offensive.
And
Mark the tape.
You can't say that.
You can say Mexican standoff.
Can you?
That's
No.
exactly what it
It's
is.
Hispanic.
No, it doesn't sound right.
I think
The
it's
good,
Hispanic.
the bad, and the ugly standoff.
I feel triggered.
What the? Are you guys serious? I can't say Mexican omelet or nothing. I mean, that's a
Mexican omelet.
No, when they put chorizo in it. Oh my god, you guys are.
Is that really a thing?
That's Ranchos Vencheros. Oh, what do they call that?
Huevos. Or Ranchos.
What did you say?
Ranchos Cucamonga. He said Ranchos
I
El
can't repeat it.
Rio.
I say it once it comes out. That's it.
Are you saying the Ranch of the River? I'm not fluent in.
Oh, man.
No. Okay.
So, Mike, bring us on. Wait,
Send lawyers, guns, and money. We got it. Well, that's it for this round of burn rate and bullshit, where the only thing we sugarcoat is our coffee. If you like what you heard, great. And if you didn't, even better. Hit like and subscribe and send this to a hospital exec who keeps saying, we're family, while closing service lines. And remember, the hype dies, execution wins. Medicine first, math second.
Next time on Burn Rate and Bullshit, everyone in this industry is chasing the next flashy unicorn, the hot consumer app, or the founder with the TED Talk voice. But some of the biggest exits happening right now, nobody's talking about them because the companies printing the real returns aren't on stage at any conference. They're boring. Deeply, operationally, beautifully boring. We're making the case that most fundable business in 26 has 95% gross retention, 40 enterprise clients who've been there for 15 years, and a customer who would have to rebuild their entire internal operation just to leave. Tune in. It might be the most unsexy thing you've ever heard, and it might also make you a lot of money.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.